Back again with Eddie. How are we, sir?
I'm buzzing, mate. What a night. I mean, what an atmosphere.
Yeah,
unbelievable. You know, sometimes when you bring two sets of fans together like that, you don't really have that very often in boxing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable atmosphere, unbelievable fight. I mean, as I said, the first round was better than the whole of the last fight, and it got better and better. Jack built up a big lead, and then Josh just came back into the fight, 8, 9, 10. Big round for 11 and 12. I thought he edged, but the right man won. And you know, the right man won. But at the same time, I do think the scorecards were wide, as Mr. Aaron articulated in the ring. And but just a great night, great atmosphere, and I'm really pleased for Jack.
How disappointing is it for you that the scorecards become the talking point?
It is. I mean, if you look online, most have him winning.
Yeah.
But most have it tied at 7-5, maybe 8-4. But that's a close fight. It can go either way. You know, as a draw. I don't believe you could possibly say that Josh Taylor won the fight, but I'm sure there will be people, particularly Scottish people, who did. And you know, 2 years ago he got robbed really of becoming undisputed champion. That doesn't count tonight. Yeah. But I'm pleased that in a fight that he won, he got the decision. I don't really care about scorecards, to be honest with you. He won the fight, and that's all that matters.
How do you feel now, pressure-wise, with all these big fights that keep happening in Saudi, and have nights like that? How does that motivate you to do more?
It's so important because one thing you can never beat the Brits at is the atmosphere. Right? Don't really matter if you're in Vegas, don't really matter if you're in New York, doesn't matter if you're in Riyadh, you're just not going to get an atmosphere like that. We're different like that, right? It's wild. But the atmosphere in Riyadh is incredible and Vegas is amazing, and they're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But we've got to make sure that we still do the big fights here as well. And you saw that tonight, you know, people looking around like, wow, unbelievable, what a night. So, you know, buzzing.
Finally, on today's card, Chev, my first time seeing him. I spoke to Tony earlier. Tony said won his best fight, but he got a knockout. How did you make of him, and what could he do?
Yeah, I agree. You know, I think he looked a little bit flat, but I think it's Zorro was like frustrating him and holding him and stuff like that. And you know, sometimes you got to go through those kind of fights. But he used his strength, knocked him out, won the British title. It's only his 9th fight, so he's learning a big future ahead.
Just a quick one, looking ahead to next week, 5v5. Just spoke to Frank. Frank suggests that you're going to win all 5, or he's got to get a maid's outfit on.
That's right. Well, no, if we win, then Andy Alien, who works for Queensberry, has got to come to the Matchroom office dressed as a butler.
Nice.
And has got to serve the entire office, which is about 100 people, tea and coffee all day.
Nice.
And if we lose, Frank Smith has to go to Queensberry's office dressed as a French maid and serve everybody tea and coffee. So this is bigger than any financial bet. Like, you know what I understand? So there's a lot on the line next week. You're going to get an amazing card. It's going to be a great night.
I was just saying earlier on, I think it's the best stacked card we've ever had
for sure.
in
and
boxing
the concept's
history.
Amazing. So long may it continue.
And finally, got to ask you, because Parsons got to kill me otherwise. Ryan Garcia failed B sample, now sending off his hair. 2 questions for me. 1, what's your reaction to that? B, will we ever get to a point where there's a centralised, chilled out, everything goes to one place for these drug tests, so we don't have 2-year bans and waiting for everything?
Yeah, not really. You know, the problem is in America is there's a different commission in every state. There's no body that sits across the whole of America like there is here with the British Boxing Board of Control. So everyone has different rules. VADA is kind of like a centralised testing union, and he tested positive. And I keep saying I hope he's innocent, but he's got to, like, you can't just say it's a conspiracy theory. Let's move on. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've tested positive in 2 tests, and we know that because of when those tests were taken, you had performance-enhancing drugs in your body when you fought Devin Haney. So if you're Devin Haney right now, you ain't feeling that great about it. But let him go through the process, and we'll see what happens.
Eddie, I know you're busy, mate. Thank you very much.
Mate.
See you soon,
mate.
Top man. Bye-bye.